We're back. Time for another edition of the Carolina Insider. Jones Angell, Adam Lucas. It's the weekend recap presented by Wells Fargo. Ton of Tar Heel information to get to. Let's start with the fact that after the retirement of Karen Shelton, Carolina, after a long search, has figured out its new head coach of Carolina field hockey. It is former player Aaron Matson. Adam, a quick transition for Aaron from player to now head coach.
Yeah, the Tar Heels only hire three-time Honda Award winners to be the head coach. There's only ever been two, Karen Shelton and Aaron Matson. Tar Heels have now employed both of them.
Wow, look at that knowledge from Adam. So congratulations to Aaron taking over. Certainly a big job filling the shoes of Coach Shelton. Let's go from there to women's basketball. And Adam, it's been a heck of a run for the women's basketball team. Started 0-3 in conference play. They now have won 7 straight, 16-5 overall, 7-3 in conference play. That includes wins on the road against Pitt and Clemson this past week.
And the Tar Heels look like they're starting to get some personnel in place that really is figuring out their roles. Most recently, it was Paulina Paris. Got her first career start against Clemson. Eva Hodgson was out. Paris got the start and did well. 22 points. She had 6 3-pointers, 5 steals. She's the ACC Freshman of the Week for that performance. Pretty good in your first start. That was part of the Tar Heels having won 7 consecutive games in the ACC, their longest streak since 2009. And as far as that personnel goes, another piece that they've just added back is Kayla McPherson, who came back against Clemson. Redshirt freshman, her first action in 800 days. So kind of similar to a Jalen Washington situation on the men's side. She was able to score 8 points against the Tigers, and the Tar Heels are really excited about what she might add.
Yeah, Tar Heels have really recruited well over the last couple of years. You're starting to see that show off with some of that depth that the Heels are now showing. Of course, one of the old heads on the team at this point is Deja Kelly, and congratulations to Deja. She was named to the late season Wooden Award watch list. That is now down to 20 players, so congratulations to Deja for that. She and the rest of the Tar Heels are back at home after 2 games on the road. They're at home against Virginia Thursday at 6 o'clock before heading back on the road for back-to-back road games. That includes Louisville on Sunday. From the women to the men, been a quiet stretch for the guys. They beat Syracuse, of course, last week, but no game this past weekend. And Adam Hubert-Davis has said the Heels, which are now, by the way, 15-6 overall, 7-3 in conference play, he felt like this timing of the break was great to, using his terms, rest their body and soul, get a little bit of a breather midway through ACC play, and get healthy after a couple injuries.
This felt like a really long break. It feels like it's been a long time since we've seen the Tar Heels, but they've been making use of that time. RJ Davis trying to get back healthy after he just got knocked all over the place up in Syracuse last week. Hubert-Davis said on Monday he feels like RJ Davis probably going to play tomorrow night against Pitt. News not as good about Puff Johnson, who's still dealing with that sore knee injury. Hubert-Davis said he was not as optimistic that Puff would be back on Wednesday. Tar Heels took the weekend off from practice and were back in the Smith Center on Monday for a heated practice. Hope they enjoyed their time off because Hubert-Davis came back with a fury and ready to get the Tar Heels ready for a matchup against a team that beat them earlier this season, and Carolina feels like they didn't play that well in that game.
That's Pittsburgh Wednesday at 7 o'clock. We'll be on the air at 6 p.m. for that. By the way, when we were talking about the women's basketball team, Deja Kelly being named to that late season Wooden Award watch list. On the guy side of things, Armando Bacot named to that watch list as well. Certainly deserved for both of those players. So congratulations to Armando. 20 players left on that watch list for the Wooden Award. Pitt, Wednesday, 7 o'clock. We're on the air at 6 o'clock radio-wise for that one. Then the Heels heading over to Durham for the first of 2 regular season meetings with Duke. That game is 6:30 on Saturday evening. We'll be on the air radio-wise at 5:30. So a big week against 2 teams that are in that upper half of the league, along with the Tar Heels. Pitt on Wednesday, Duke on the road on Saturday. All right, let's talk a little Tar Heel football. A lot happening around Carolina football this week. Adam, that includes the introduction of a new cornerback coach. That is Jason Jones. Coach Jones works at Indiana in the past. He's been a co-defensive coordinator at Ole Miss and has some history with Tar Heel DB coach as well and co-defensive coordinator Charlton Warren.
Coach Jones is actually what Jones likes us to call
That's
him
why
when he's
I forced
walking
Adam
around
to
the
call me
studio.
here in the studio.
It gets a little old. But Jason Jones, the authentic Coach Jones, has worked with Charlton Warren before, so you like that familiarity perhaps in that defensive backfield, which was a problematic area for the Tar Heel defense last year. Mac Brown seems to like what this group is going to bring to, as he has said, a defense that's got to be better in 2023 than they were in 2022. And they've had the path laid out before them this week because the ACC announced the ACC football schedule, and the Tar Heels, as we knew already, got a difficult slate, but one that may be manageable.
Yeah, a couple of highlights of that. Starting the season in Charlotte against South Carolina. Always a big game when those two get together. Last two times they have played has been in Charlotte. Of course, Carolina getting the big win to start the 2019 season, but then South Carolina getting a win last time they met in the bowl game. Tar Heels also, what a way to end the season. Their final three games, a rivalry game against Duke at home, then at Clemson, at NC State. That'll be a difficult close to the year for the Tar Heels. 7 home games this year, Adam, plus that game in Charlotte. So only 4 true road games for the Tar Heels, all coming in conference play this season.
I like that. There's a stretch of 5 home games at Kenan Stadium in 6 weeks. That's a lot of trips to Kenan Stadium, so put them on your calendar right now. Go ahead and clear off your fall. The good thing about the tough end of the schedule, you've got a chance to build some momentum going into that and have those be really important games.
So big season upcoming certainly for the Tar Heels. Looking forward to that, and of course spring ball getting soon for Carolina football. All right, let's go to a couple Olympic sports. Let's start with the tennises. Ho-hum, they're just winning a bunch of matches like usual. The men and the women advance through the ITA Indoor National Championship round. The guys are in Chicago in 2 weeks. The women are in Seattle in 1 week. And Adam, both these programs just continue to cruise as they have over the last several years, being one of the nation's best.
Women's tennis beats Maryland and Charlotte. They only lost 1 set combined in those 2 matches. Men's tennis beat Oklahoma State and then Harvard, which you might think, well, I'm not sure about Harvard. Harvard's number 13 in the country. Tar Heels beat them 4-1. It gets kind of confusing now because that was part of the ITA National Indoors. Now you step out of that event and play some other matches. The women are going to host Georgia on Wednesday, which is a big match. Georgia's good. And then the men are going to host Illinois and TCU this weekend. So you have those non-conference matches before you get back into ITA National Indoors, which Carolina's had a ton of success for both teams in that event.
The men have won it twice recently. The women have won it 3 straight years and 6 of the last 10. So both those programs certainly used to success in that event. All right, let's talk a few other sports. We'll start with wrestling. They're now 2-0 in the ACC, blew out Duke. Then they took care of business against Virginia, topping the Cavaliers 30-9. They're at Pittsburgh on Friday. It's a wide open conference right now. Pitt, Virginia Tech, NC State still on the docket for the Tar Heels. All those teams are really good, but all of them have already lost once in conference action. So still a lot in front of the Tar Heels there. Gymnastics, Carolina won its 3rd dual meet of the year. And the Eagle, of course, remember, no ACC just yet. They're in the East Atlantic Gymnastics League. Tar Heels beat George Washington this past weekend in front of a big crowd. Julia Noer took the all-around championship, 3rd straight meet that she has done that. That included a 9.95 on the floor. Heels travel to Raleigh this weekend for a tri-meet against NC State and Western Michigan. And Adam, also some success in the pool for the Tar Heels here recently.
Men and women both beat Duke on senior day, always an emotional day. 12 seniors swimming their last meet for the Tar Heels, and as has been the case throughout this winter, Carolina divers getting it done. Former pod guests Aranza Vasquez and Emily Grunn go 1-2 in both of the diving events. They've both been great guests on here. And then a freshman, Louis Drum, wins 3 events for the men in the pool, as both the Tar Heel men and women won really handily over the Blue Devils.
So a lot of success going on around Carolina athletics. It's a busy time of year, too, with spring sports getting started, winter sports kind of in the back third of their regular seasons. So a ton going on, and we look forward to continue to bring you all that success here on the Carolina Insider. But for now, let me remind you, men's basketball, Wednesday, 7 o'clock in the Smith Center against Pitt. Radio-wise, we'll be on the air at 6 p.m. That'll do it for us here on the Carolina Insider.